Hey guys, welcome to another great episode. The weather hasn't been great here, so we haven't had time to make it to the range, but that's perfect because we're going to be reviewing 8 different pistols and giving you what we think about them. All these pistols that we're reviewing today will be ones that we have shot and personally own, so we can give you our honest feedback, what we do and don't like. So stay tuned to the end to find out about the giveaway if you haven't already heard. Enjoy.
Hey guys, so check it out. We've got 8 different firearms that we want to review here. As Jared said previously, we've got everything from Taurus automatics, we've got Glocks, we've got Sigs, we've got lots of Sigs, Sigs. And even brought my little snub-nosed Taurus here that I absolutely love. Now, basically what we want to do is we want to go over different types of pistols for different types of people, right? Also, different types of pistols for different types of situations. You know, every single pistol that's sitting here is just as lethal as the one sitting next to it. The main thing that we want to kind of get across is why we chose the specific platforms that we did and their use cases, right? So for some are concealed carry, some might be an everyday carry in, let's say, like a bag or some kind of luggage. And then you have your pocket guns, right? Like this Taurus J-frame here. That could easily go into a pocket. It can easily be concealed carried. So we're going to kind of go over each firearm. We'll kind of toss it back and forth. So Jared, why don't we get started and talk about your first choice here?
All right, for my first pick is the 365. This is the first pistol I picked up and purchased.
Nice.
I purchased it right around 500. Today's prices might have changed because it has been a while, but one great thing about the SIGs is that they're interchangeable, which I love. It's closest to the AR platform, so you can interchange slides, grip modules, as well as the aftermarket.
So if you have aftermarket parts for that, you could switch them out with one of your other SIG
as long
platforms.
as it's the same model or a similar model, yes. Also,
good.
the aftermarket for it is growing, but is pretty out there as well.
I'm sure that stuff gets expensive too.
It can, yes, definitely. One thing I'll say about this pistol that I do not like, though, would have to be the size. It is small, so easy to conceal carry, but for people who have larger hands, or really I would say normal size hands, it's just too small.
Yeah, I definitely understand. Even with the pinky extender on the magazine, it's still not enough. I mean, you can see there. Yeah, don't worry, I'm not pointing it at Jared. The camera angle might look that way, but yeah, I could definitely understand where you're coming from with that. I mean, the pistol is it's about 3 fingers worth of handle there. So
it also, with that, tends to lose some control that you would gain from having a full hand on there. Yeah. So one thing just really I didn't care for.
Gotcha.
But overall, I mean, I do like it. I still shoot it. Like I said, it's easy to conceal carry because of how small it is. Sig's a great brand, so
it's definitely a slimmer silhouette than
but that's why it would have to be my number 1 pick.
Right on. All right, so in true fashion, I'm going to go ahead and talk about my first pistol, and I hope for anyone watching this, you still have your first pistol that you ever purchased, because I mean, you can't get rid of the first one.
Well, it's definitely a memory.
That's right. Pistols and rifles and shotguns, you know, they come and go, but that first pistol, that's the one you got to keep forever. So this right here is a Taurus PT229 Pro first generation, right? It is it's chambered in .40 caliber. This thing is old. It should have a serial number of like 1. It's old. So this is the standard version of the PT229 Pro. There were 2 other versions. There was a safety decocker version, which is called the SD, and then there was another version that had a longer a longer barrel, and it was 2-tone. But I went with the subdued, even though up here towards the front it kind of looks 2-tone because it's got some miles on it. Basically, what I absolutely love about this pistol is the grip. The grip on this, so it's not quite as aggressive of cant on your grip here as say a Glock, right? It's similar to that like a Sig, right? So you're not having to readjust if you're used to firing Sigs or XDs or anything of those sorts. The ribber grip is what they call it, R-I-B-B-E-R. When it was actually, it's worn down so much that you know, we're getting down to the bones of this thing. But at one point, the grip on here, what I loved about it, the best feature was it conformed to your hand.
Yeah.
You didn't have to conform to the firearm, right? So the platform, the first time you pick it up, felt so natural. You didn't really feel like you needed to adapt to the firearm whatsoever. One of my dislikes on this is I'm not a huge fan of the rear sights on here. They're like standard Heine sights, and it's double stack dots with a it's basically a lazy E, but with double stack dots, and not a huge fan of that. It's a little outdated. The fact that they've ridged it so it doesn't pick up light is nice, but it is definitely a little outdated, but it feels great in your hand. It's a great solid firearm. I definitely recommend you check it out if you can find one. They're very hard to find. You can find Gen 2s all day long. Even I think now they have Gen 3s, but the PT247 Pro Gen 1.
All right, the second firearm I have today for you is the Sig 365 XL. A lot like the 365, it's interchangeable and everything. The difference between this one and that one is definitely the size. You have a longer barrel with the longer slide, as well as a longer grip module, which is great. This one tends to fit my hand just like almost perfectly. So I really fell in love with this one, as well as it has the cut for sights. I put a Romeo 0 on here. A lot of people will trash this sight,
no, it's solid.
For the price point, I think it's great.
Yeah, a lot of law enforcement are using them.
Yeah. I haven't had any issue with it. So, I mean...
I think it's on, by the way. Well, it's auto on.
Oh, yeah. This one, as well as the sight, is auto on. So, after it's left for a while, it will cut out. Now, the issue with the sight is the battery is underneath, so you do have to remove it. So, you're going to have to confirm.
I think that's the biggest complaint on that style.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, no issue. The firearm itself, just like the 365, all the parts are interchangeable. So if I want to put the slide on there, I can, vice versa. But the main reason I picked this one up is because I was looking for a better choice than this.
Right.
So the grip module felt great.
So a lot longer, which is way more comfortable.
As well as the trigger breaks at a 90, so it's flat. So you're not pulling past. The mags, as long as it's 12 and above rounds, you can interchange them. So a lot of the parts I already had. So that was why it was like kind of a no-brainer for me to go with this. I didn't really have to go out and find more mags and stuff.
Exactly. So, it's not a completely separate platform.
Yeah.
All right, so next firearm that I want to talk about is the Sig P229. This is also an older firearm. Okay, this is not the half composite, half metal version. This is the all metal frame. Okay, so this whole thing is freaking, it's heavy, right? Even unloaded, it's a very heavy firearm. It's very reminiscent of your older 1911s, very similar in weight. This is chambered in .40 caliber as well. This is a decommissioned, I want to say Maryland State Police. I might be wrong about that. It could have been Virginia, but up north, it was a decommissioned state trooper service arm, and I mean, it runs like butter. I didn't have to break the thing in because it had been broken in plenty on the range, you know. But runs great, super accurate. It has that very similar lazy E and double stack dots, right? Just like on the Taurus, which I'm not a huge fan of. But you can see here, you get kind of squared on the rear, which I really like a lot more. And you have a really big dot on your front sight post right there, right? So it's a lot easier when you're really doing targets that are beyond typical pistol shooting for practice. So that is something that I actually do like about it. One thing I'm not a huge fan of is, we've already mentioned it, the weight, right? And also this is not a spurless design like you would have with your PT 24/7 Pro or your Glocks or your Sigs. This Sig actually does have a spur. It does have a safety decocker as well, which is kind of nice. And you have a half cock safety as well, as you would expect standard on most pistols with spurs on them. But yeah, it's still a solid firearm. I really love it. This is basically my everyday carry. I'm not, I'm leaning more towards 9mm nowadays, with ammo prices. But I'm still true into 40 caliber. I love 40 cal, and we're not going to get into that because I'm sure we would argue about different ammo types and why for a million years here. That's the constant debate in the firearms community.
9mm.
Yeah, so starting to lean more towards 9mm, but I do still love my 40s. So yeah, that's the Sig P229, and we'll go on to the next one.
All right. For my next pick, it is a Taurus G3. Now, if you want to talk about budget, these things are amazing. They're fairly inexpensive.
Yeah.
I actually think they're growing more popular. Used to never really hear Taurus, especially outside of revolvers, but they've stepped their pistol game up, and the G3 is definitely a tribute to that. It shows that they're listening to people, fixing the issues that they are having, coming out with a better pistol every time. So that's why this is definitely on the list. You can't beat the price. I'm not a huge fan of the grip, the way it feels in my hand. It feels wide to me. To other people, probably not an issue. The sights, I'm not a huge fan of either. You have just in the back, just nothing there with a slight cut. The dot's kind of small, and especially it's just a simple white dot up front. I typically don't like them when they're cut in so much because you get dirt and stuff in there. You start to lose the coloration.
And no markings on the rear.
Yeah. Start to lose that coloration. So I'm not a huge fan. As well as with all my Sigs, I don't have a safety. So when I start using this one, I get problems with taking the safety off when I'm trying to rack it back or something. Not that that's an issue. That's just something
familiarity thing.
Yeah, I don't like. But other than that, it's a great pistol, especially for the price point. There are a few other competitors around that price point, but I think Taurus is pretty much, if not number one, definitely up there with them.
I would have to agree for a budget pistol that's reliable, that you could carry every day and rely on. Taurus makes a pretty solid pistol.
With the G3 as well, there is some weight on there, but you can simply go with the G2C or G3C, and that takes some of that weight off. So me personally, I don't mind carrying it, but it does get heavy after a while. So
yeah. All right, now we're going to talk about one of my absolute favorite pistols of all time. This is a Taurus snub nose revolver. Okay, so this is as standard as revolvers come. It's so standard it doesn't have a name. It's literally just a Taurus revolver. So this is your snub nose. It's a standard J-frame design. You'd be familiar with that through Smith & Wesson. I mean, every single manufacturer of snub nose pocket style revolvers, right? So this particular revolver is chambered in 38 special, right? So it's a standard 6-shooter. It's there's nothing super special about it. It is spurred, right? So it's not spurless, which a lot of these J-frame revolvers that are designed for concealed carry are spurless now, so they're not getting caught in clothing or anything like that, which is smart. I would recommend that you go with that. But when you can pick one of these things up for like $275, you really can't go wrong. And I'm not going to nitpick about the spur here, right? So the grip one of the great things that I like about this is it's your old school form factor for the pistol itself, right? But you have a new upgraded grip. It forms to where your thumb naturally rests, so that your thumb's not resting on your middle finger. It's actually resting on a ridge that they've designed into the grip here, which really helps with the stability, and it forces some of that exerted force on your thumb pushing inward instead of downward onto your fingers, which can sometimes cause instability, right? The number one positive thing about this Taurus revolver is the fact that you can stick it in a coat pocket and you don't even have to pull it out of your pocket if you need to shoot really quick, right? I don't recommend that. That's not a first option, right? But if you're ever in a situation where you cannot get your hands forward and you need to fire, you can do it straight from a pocket or straight from a jacket pocket or whatever you need to do. And you're not going to be burning yourself. There's no ports on here, no nothing, right? You're going to get some of that flashback from your barrel here, but other than that, it's just a solid pistol. It just runs great. It has all the same horrible things that you don't like about small revolvers. It kicks like a mule, and it's super top heavy. You know, all the normal things that you would expect from a revolver. But this thing is, for the price, you really can't beat it. This is absolutely an everyday carry item, hands down.
I will say that grip when we went out was amazing. It allows some of that recoil to actually be able to be absorbed by your hand, rather than the top just kicking up immediately and you're losing grip on it.
Pushes back a little bit more than it does up. It's almost like the ones that are designed with the ported barrel to push more to the rearward. That grip definitely helped with that.
Yeah. All right, my last pick, and I saved the best for last, in my opinion, is the P320, the VTAC edition specifically. The 320 has, you know, many different models, and it's a great series of my, like, I think hands down, like, it's definitely up there. Just like the 365s, they are universal, so everything can be swapped out. You have a main fire control unit. That's the only piece that's serialized. So as long as you have that, you can build up to what you want. They have so many, not even just aftermarket, but Sig themselves has so many grips, slides, and everything.
It's like building Legos.
Yeah, the sky is the limit. You like Build-A-Bear, this is Build-A-Bear with firearms. But the VTAC edition, they have tritium sights as well as fiber optic sights. So day, nighttime, you can still see, which I really like. They are higher, so a lot of stuff that you could do with 320s, you can't do with this only because of that, but you can still change them out. If you're planning on doing that, I would recommend just getting a standard 320 full size and doing that. The only thing I can complain about, not just with the 320, but the other SIGs line, is the beaver tail sits really low. The recoil when it comes back seems like it's more because your hand is lower instead of coming up higher holding it. So that's my only complaint I really can say about them. But even then, like, the recoil
feels a little top heavy because of where your hand naturally sits.
Since you're lower on the gun too, like the slide coming back lifts up a little bit higher. But this one does have the cutout for an optic, and I'm not quite sure if I am going to put it on it.
We're going to put one on there.
Well, we'll get into why.
We're going to review it, and we're going to show you guys.
We'll get into why I might not. But yeah, this is definitely my number one pick. The 320 XL is my everyday carry, but unless I'm wearing outside the waistband, then it's this thing. This is also my home defense gun because the handling on it is amazing. The price point for the VTAC specifically is pretty up there.
Yeah.
But the standard 320s, they're all great as well. They're more, I would say, budget friendly as well. So definitely check them out. Yeah, without a doubt, this thing is amazing.
All right, so I guess that brings us to our eighth and final pistol here.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are going to be happy to hear this. Some people are not going to be happy to hear this. But my final pick is the Glock 17. chambered in 9x19. It is all of the things that you want in a pistol, all of the reliability that you want in a pistol, all of the basic necessities that you need in a pistol, The Glock 17, this is a Gen 4, by the way, which a lot of people swear by the Gen 4, and I can see why. Everything's pretty basic on this, right? The grip is basic, the sights are basic, everything on here is as stripped down and basic as it can be. You do have a standard trigger safety on here as well. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. This pistol right here beats every single other pistol on this mat. I'm going to tell you why.
I would disagree.
I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. Because I have a Roni kit that you can easily slide this bad boy into, which we're definitely going to be reviewing this. So you just slide this in here real nice and easy. Make sure you line up your slide there so it slaps in real good. Slide it forward, push this down, push that forward, locks in place. You'll see the little red there once it's locked. And look at that. It's a thing of beauty, of absolute beauty. You really can't go wrong. This thing is absolute amazing platform. I mean, the ease of use, how compact it is. You can still conceal carry it in a small bag or in your vehicle if you need to. Say you work in a not so great area of town, Fayetteville, and you really want to make sure that you have something that's reliable, controllable, and not to mention, you've got an extra mag slot here. Who doesn't want an extra magazine attached to their firearm, right? So in this case, it's attached to the firearm platform. But this thing is called the Roni kit, and it's made by MCK. MCK did a really solid job on this thing. I definitely recommend you guys check them out. These are pretty well known and widely used. You can usually pick these up depending on what time of year it is, how in demand it is. You can pick them up for anywhere between $175 to $250. So definitely go check these out. They make them for Glock. They're adjustable for all the different models of Glock. Make sure you look up and make sure that it supports your specific model if you have an existing Glock, or just pick one up. And while you're out picking one up, pick up another Glock. There's nothing wrong with that. Have a dedicated Glock for your Roni kit. Cannot recommend this thing enough. I have no cons, absolutely zero cons on this, other than they have these little modules here that are designed to be removed. You can see them, super easy to remove, right? They have this little slot here in the front that's designed for different modules. You can get a laser, you can get a flashlight, you can get a laser flashlight combo. They are super hard to find for like less than how much the damn kit costs itself. It's not fun to find these. So I just have this little spacer that sits in there. Eventually one day, if I can find one for the right price, I'll pick up a little flashlight, and they'll have a little button here that you can press so you can have a built-in flashlight with your Glock. This thing is awesome. So,
well, before all of you leave, because he has this nasty Glock up here, we are going to be getting one for a 320. And then we are going to make a video on which one is better, the Glock or the 320. But I think you said it best the other day when you said the Glock is not a gun to form to people, but rather you have to form to it.
Yes.
The 320s, they typically, you can find different size grip modules and everything and build it to you as where the Glock is. If you can get used to the Glock, it is a proficient weapon and actually is reliable. As much as people hate them, I think it's more so they hate them because it doesn't fit them.
Yeah, everyone I know that's not a fan of Glock, which I'm not even a huge Glock guy, right? Like, I own more Sigs than I own Glocks. I own more Tauruses than I own Glocks, right? But the main thing about the Glock is you have to conform to the Glock. You have to change how you hold the firearm, how you punch out. the way that it's holstered, everything with a Glock, because of the way that the grip is canted and everything else. If you are willing to do that and you don't have a lot of bad habits to get over to do that proficiently, it's an amazing platform. I would argue to say that Glock is the best platform out there. Sig, on the other hand, they're so customizable, there's so many options, and they're not as expensive as a lot of these custom Glock jobs, right? I hate saying those words, Glock job. So they're not as crazy expensive as these custom Glocks that you see out there. Don't get me wrong, it can get expensive. It can get very expensive. But if you're on a budget, you have options. You have way more options customizing a SIG, and you at home customizing your SIG, than to spend the money to go have someone else customize your Glock or spend an exorbitant amount of money on replacement parts that have those customizations already on them, right? So there's trade-off there, obviously. Me personally, I prefer a SIG, right? But when it comes to a no-nonsense, reliable, no matter what pistol in a beautiful kit like this, I'm Glock all day.
I think firearm for firearm, I'm still going to have to go with the 320. Now, if you go 320 versus Glock 17 with the frame kit right there, I would pick the Glock. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if you like holding bricks, then you'll probably like the Glock.
Telephone poles, not bricks.
Oh, my bad.
Telephone poles.
Also, I want to make note and put it out there that a lot of people I hear, they don't want to buy a certain firearm because, although it is customizable, they don't want to put the work in. With the 320, it's simply one takedown pin. It's pulled all the way out. The fire control unit comes out, and it's as simple as that. Same thing with ARs. A lot of people don't want to build their own, but you can get complete kits where you're just taking your takedown pins out.
It's the easiest platform to build.
So before you just go out there and say that you don't want to do it because you don't have the knowledge, which there's tons of videos all over.
YouTube, it's crazy.
That's
it's
how
an amazing
I learned.
Place.
Yeah. So, and then another thing is I hear a lot of people everywhere talk about a certain system, whether it's fire system, optics, something they had a bad experience with.
Yeah.
They didn't contact the manufacturer or whatever the case was, and now that's the worst thing in their mind. Yep. I want you to know, regardless of where you buy from, somebody's quality control is going to mess up somewhere.
Yep.
So allow them the opportunity to correct it and then go from there.
Yep. Let them make it right and reserve your opinion until they've done that, because it doesn't matter who the manufacturer is, how great they are. There's going to be problems out there.
Yep.
There are. So definitely give them a chance to make things right, like Jared said.
9 times out of 10, you'll have a better experience from it anyways.
Yep.
And that builds up a better relationship between you and that company because you know they have you in mind and you're not just money coming in.
That's right. All right, guys, so that about does it. We're happy that you joined us today to go over these pistols. Definitely would recommend every single pistol that you see here. There are no losers on this table. There are quite a few that stand out as superior to their peers that are here, right? But definitely there's no losers sitting on this table right now. There's no losers sitting on this table right now. So we appreciate you guys for stopping by. We do want to talk about a giveaway that's going on. In case you missed our last video, Jared, why don't you go ahead and fill us in?
Well, we have a charging handle from Strike Industries up. It's super easy to enter. All you have to do is leave a like on every video as well as a comment. Each video will get you an entry in and be subscribed. We will be doing the giveaway August the 6th. So make sure you check us out then to see if you won. Hey, it's super nice. I run it on a couple of my systems.
I'm running on mine.
So definitely something we use as well, and that's why we chose it for our first giveaway. And guess what? You don't have to buy it. It's free. Everything will be included as well as the shipping. So
wait, we're paying for shipping too?
Hey,
this guy's crazy. He's just giving stuff away.
Almost like I am. Well, thank you for tuning in to another great episode. Hope you liked it. Let us know down in the comments what you did or didn't like. Let us know in the comments which is the real winner. So, thank you for tuning in. Have a great one.